All right. Let's just dive right in. Let's just keep talking.
Uh-huh.
Listen, when this man pulled a Madara, and
Yeah,
Drop me on the
yeah,
He grabbed the
he's
moon
gonna
and
bring it down. Yeah. This man brought that moon bits, bro.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
no,
I
no, he
did
pulled
that.
a, you know, he pulled a, what was that? What's that move called? The Toriko, bro. Damn it, what's it called?
Oh, Grand Knocking?
No, meteor spice, bro. When
Meteor
Meteor
Spice. Meteor Spice. You
Spice!
talk about Meteor Spice?
Meteor Spice.
oh my god, I was spazzed out like this man is crazy.
This man is crazy. This
Oh
nigga
my
is
god.
raw, bro.
Oh my
This
goodness.
nigga's nasty. Bro. No,
Listen,
don't say. I finally get to talk about my most hype moment, man.
What?
When Doctor Strange and Thanos got locked in this freaking like
yo,
mystical showdown, bro.
this
Yo,
man hit the
did you
Shiva hand, yo. Oh my god.
listen? Do you really peep that this man Thanos threw a black hole at him, bro? Like he legit just made and threw a black hole at him, and then Doctor Strange just freaking like mirror dimensioned it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this psionic battle? What is
Yo,
that?
I swear, bro, that battle was like, listen, this man, I
Bro.
made after the Doctor Strange thing, I said, bro, he is so strong that he could really go toe to
I'm gonna
toe
go
with
on
him.
mute for a second, guys. I'm
Wait,
still
All
listening.
right, go.
is that a lagging for everybody else or just?
This is
My,
you. He's not lagging.
okay, yeah, but this man, this Doctor Strange is amazing, and Tony was getting it in a little
Tony
bit,
threw
but
hands, bro.
before he got stabbed in the chest, he was
Mm-hmm.
throwing hands.
I knew he was gonna get
Oh
shit
yeah,
rocked.
Tony did a freaking like a freaking he did a Tony Stark barrage, a Nuzumaki barrage, only for like a drop of blood, bro. Like
He said, "All you got was a
Oh,
drop. You
this
did
for
all
a
that."
drop of blood.
all that for just one drop of blood.
All right, so real quick, let's just go one by one. Since Andre, just give you a quick thought. Since Andre went on mute, Nuna, quick thoughts on Avengers: Infinity War, first impressions, and feeling when you stepped
I
out of the
went
theater.
in.
Hmm.
I was joking about like how Groot and Loki were gonna die because they're my favorite characters, and then I watched the movie, and then I watched the first 5 minutes. That's exactly how long Loki lasted, and let's just say it broke me. I was not expecting that, and when he said, "Mr. Stark, I don't want to go," I like really just I spent the night at my friend's house and I had a t-shirt with me in my bag and I used that to wipe my tears and the t-shirt was wet
Yeah.
because that's how much I cried from the movie. That's all my thoughts.
Touching on that Loki thing. Well, actually, no. Well, Ibrahim, you go next.
All right, I mean,
Oh
my general
no.
thoughts on the movie. Can I not be met with bad energy when I'm about to speak? Please? My general thoughts on the movie are just that it was a spectacle to really sit through and watch, and like just I don't know, man. It's just really this like bewildering experience. Like it's really an experience. I think it doesn't have all the best action in the MCU, but to just really sit through like some of those scenes, like were just it felt like freaking like hype anime done right for some points. Even the Squidward looking nigga, Ebony Maw, like when this man was just like with a finger like slicing things that were coming at him in half, or like some of those big fight scenes, or just like the interactions with the characters. Like I think the film was just structured properly in terms of think it was in terms of like making it a Thanos movie while you interconnect kind of these characters interacting until they all come into a head. So the structure was good, the action was just fantastic. The stakes were high, and they did good in really making Thanos feel really dangerous, and his presence was just fantastic. He took over the show, which he should have because it's Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
And overall, I would just say another W by Marvel as expected.
Oh
So
my god.
great job.
Word.
So Kevin, go ahead.
First off, I want to say if you're Mexican, I don't like
Oh
it.
my god.
What are you talking?
Let's this movie. For somebody who's pretty worried about what I was going to see, I was very, very, very surprised at what I witnessed. The action, like even from the beginning, like again, if you're watching anything or reading anything, you're not expecting like niggas to like out of nowhere just off rip just start
Oh
going
yeah,
in. But
facts.
the first 5 minutes of the movie, you're starting off with Asgard, half of Asgard gone. This nigga Thor is a bitch. He just lying there in the fucking corner, crying because Thanos just smoked half his country and beat the shit out of Idris Elba weak ass. And Loki gets choked out like a Hispanic chick with a drug lord.
We do
And
not
This is a
condone
PG
what
stream.
Kevin's saying. These are his thoughts
but
and his
no,
thoughts on it.
I'm joking.
Those are Kevin and Kevin's thoughts only.
But just then, and it's like it's one of those things where like no scene was wasted. You have a 2 and how many minutes? 2.5 hour movie about, and every single scene from start to finish, there was some kind of substance in it.
I agree.
And you had
That's
it's like also another actually no, I'm not gonna talk about this because we're gonna talk about it later. But I think in terms of action, in terms of moving the plot, like there was no downtime. If there was any kind of time where it was more lax, it was used for jokes or to something that still kept you entertained. There was nobody in the theater that looked at their phone. Like, you're in your theater, you're gonna see people at their phone. It don't matter who. And nobody was making noise. Nobody was like. People were completely engaged with everything that was happening, and that's what a movie is supposed to.
You know what proves that, Kevin? You know what proves that, Kevin? Like the movie is like a pretty long movie for regular movie standards, like over 2.5 hours, and like it doesn't feel like it's that. Is it just me? Am I speaking for myself, or is that true? Like, because I feel like
it didn't feel long because you just
it doesn't
feel enjoyed it.
It doesn't feel long. Like I'm not watching it going like, all right, how much time is left?
The one criticism though, the weakest part of the movie would easily be the Black Order. Ebony Maw was cool, but the other two people, their role,
I'll touch on that.
Their role was pretty weak, and then you had Vision.
Yeah.
He was, he didn't really do much, and then you had that bum ass nigga Hawkeye. Yeah, him.
Oh,
he wasn't even in the movie.
He wasn't even.
I was waiting for you to start getting your shots in the Hawkeye.
But yeah,
oh boy,
start to finish, man. This is a great movie, possibly the greatest comic book movie ever created.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
So Rodney.
Wait, what do you say, Kevin?
All right, what's up, Michael?
Quick thoughts, impressions, feelings coming out of the theater.
All right. So when I walked into the theater, the only thing going through my mind is, let me see the finger snap. Let me see the finger snap. That's what I wanted most. After the first 5 minutes, bruh. After an hour, bruh. Near the end, bruh. That's all I need to say. That's my thoughts.
Oh my goodness.
Yo, Rodney, that's great.
I mean, everybody basically covered everything. Obviously, a very impactful, shocking. Oh, Andre, go ahead.
So, hold on. So, when the movie,
you lag.
Go ahead.
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
So when the movie comes on, I'm like, what is going on? Like, it's a complete wasteland on this space scene and like the ship. And like I see Idris Elba character like just groveling, and then Loki's like right there being Loki, and like the Hawk come in and give like Thanos a good 2 punches. And Thanos said this man was the karate master type of ass work. Like it was like all clean shots, and then he picked him up and slammed him on his head. I was like, damn.
Bro, when you get slammed on your head, bro, you gotta quit.
Bruh. It was a humbling experience. Hey, Andre, I'm about to repost that picture again.
Yo, and then what really messed me up, like Thanos just picked some random dude up. I'm like, who is he picking up? And I'm just like, yo, that's Thor. I'm just like,
yeah.
I like Thor got all screen before the movie even started. I was like, oh, Thor gonna be a bum again in this movie.
Yo, he did get off screen.
That's
And
Yeah,
then, like,
wild.
off screen.
You open up the biggest Marvel movie with off-screen Thor and
And, like-
Thanos walking on Asgardian bodies.
Even
And,
in
like-
background too. Go ahead, Andre. Go ahead.
and then like I think someone already talked about it, but like, yo, Doctor Strange versus Thanos.
The psionic battle.
Yo, listen, when he went like multi shadow clone jutsu on him, right? I was like, yo, this is just crazy. Then Thanos threw a black hole at him. I'm just like, what is Strange gonna do with that?
Turned it into butterflies.
Bro, it almost felt like, they almost like they were. I feel like in my mind they were infinitely close to like just straight up doing like freaking hand sign jutsus on each other.
Right?
Right? I feel like they're out here like doing the freaking symbol.
And like I was next to this girl that was like, she's like an animated type of watcher, and like she was like, yo, oh, like real like that, and like it was getting me shook. Like when people were dying and shit, like when Loki died, I was like, yo, this man Thanos is not playing around right now. I was like, oh, like 5 minutes in the movie, you got a major death. I was like, damn. And then like they come to Earth, and there's Doctor Strange and Iron Man and Spider-Man and the Asian boy versus his underlings.
Oh, Wong.
Yeah,
Wong.
and the Hawk.
And that man
Hawk
stepped
is
back.
so shook.
He did.
Yo, y'all saw the Wong memes, yo?
Yeah.
Hawk,
He said,
Hawk-
"Hey, what y'all about to do? I'm about to step to the crib, yeah."
Hawk-
Y'all can't handle
Wait,
it?
Elijah, man.
Hawk had that Shakespeare in him.
Oh, no. Oh, Andre, don't do this, man. Nah, don't do this,
Man,
Andre.
I ain't got time for Thanos right now, man.
Yeah.
My head still hurt from that swing.
Yo, do you realize like think about this, right? When you like if you like do extended reading on Hulk and stuff, like to bring out Hulk, it's literally just a simple like just like emotion, and yet for him to not come out, there has to be a really really deep rooted psychological seated reason for him to not come out, bro. Like Thanos shocked this man to its fundamental core, bro. Like just,
the first Avengers is just he's like, I'm always angry. He brings them out immediately.
yeah, like.
And then like even in like Ultron, he brings them out immediately, but he's filled with remorse the fact that he still can't control control Hawk like the way he wants him to. But like the fact that Hawk was just straight up shook.
Is that the consensus? Is that he was scared, or is it just that
he was
have
like,
control?
No,
he
That was more to it.
no.
There's more.
Maybe
there's
Marvel
more.
can afford to animate it.
No,
it's like this. It's
No,
like
go
he
ahead,
got
I'm sorry.
slapped so bad that this man had PTSD, and it caused a psychologically deep-rooted issue to the point where he couldn't access his anger.
Well-
like, you know how bad it is to get bitched so bad that you can't get
Well,
pissed
and Thor Ragnarok, what didn't he have trouble bringing
Yeah.
Hulk out at one point?
No.
Did he?
Well, technically, yeah.
He reverted. He reverted back.
But yeah,
Like the
he
Hulk
reverted.
took over for a
Maybe,
while.
Yeah, the Hulk took over.
Wait, I have a theory, y'all.
Go ahead.
They're probably gonna do some asshole for why he couldn't do it, but maybe they were saving Hulk for Infinity War 2.
I think so
No.
too.
Since they wiped out most
I
of
think
the
they're gonna.
characters
I'm
at
sorry.
the end. Okay, my bad. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. You can go. That was my fault.
Oh, I think because they wiped out most of the characters in Infinity War, like the first movie, they can use Hulk in the second one to his full potential to probably help beat Thanos or something. I don't know. Do you guys think Thanos is gonna be the main villain for the next movie?
No, I don't think he's
Yes.
gonna be in the movie.
Yes, I
he
think
did
he
what
is.
he needed to do.
I
Well,
think
yeah,
he
they
is.
gotta go. Back.
I don't think so.
They gotta
Yeah.
go back to Thanos.
I think so.
They will, but what he did is already done.
Yeah.
It's nothing else for him. He just relaxed now.
And Hawk, like even Bruce Banner, there's a scene when Bruce is like, "Yo, we gotta have a serious talk." It's like he makes a comment about like we have to have a serious talk. I think Hawk is scared of him. Like he is scared of Thanos because Bruce was scared of Thanos. He's like, "Yo, listen, y'all don't know about this dude Thanos."
Right.
Like he was
yeah.
hyping him up the entire time, and even Tony knew like, yeah, this is the dude I've been worrying about this entire time.
Have any of you guys seen that one dude named Emergency Awesome on YouTube?
I know of him.
Who?
Emergency Awesome.
It's a YouTube channel.
I'm gonna go mute.
He
I don't know
had
who
a
the fuck
good
that
theory.
is.
I've seen some of his videos. He's alright.
Well, he had a good theory about what's it? Captain America, why he was so useless. Not his words; those are mine.
Why he was so
But,
what?
Why is so
um,
useless?
he thinks
Wait,
he
why?
thinks
Who is
that.
useless?
He said she has a theory on why Captain America was so
Well, I
useless.
personally think he's useless. He didn't say that. Those
Oh
are my
my
words.
god, Steve
He
Rogers
thinks that
slander.
Steve Rogers is gonna be the like the you know how Thanos had to have a sacrifice to get the Soul Stone.
Yeah.
He thinks
Yeah.
Stark is gonna get the Gauntlet next, and since he has to sacrifice somebody for the Infinity, not the for the Soul Stone. That the sacrifice will be Captain America, and that
Really?
Thanos won't be the focus of the second movie. It'll be more on getting the Gauntlet and then like reversing. I don't know, something like that. I thought it was a
Yeah,
good theory.
I agree with that because I don't think next movie because I know Ant-Man and Wasp are gonna be in that movie, and I know the Hawkeye is gonna come back, and
Captain Marvel.
yeah, Captain Marvel, who again is a woman.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god.
Wait, what did
And
Kevin say?
I said Captain Marvel, who again is
I-
a woman. I don't care about her.
Go
That's
ahead,
beside the
Tyler.
point.
Everyone hates women. You've been known this.
Exactly, but she's going to be leading the Avengers. I think that only a certain portion of the Avengers is going to come back. I honestly think Tony. I used to say he was gonna die, and I still think
Yeah.
he is. And I think Captain America is gonna die, but I think Captain America is gonna use the Gauntlet.
No way is Tony dying. No way is
Tony's
Tony dying.
dying. Tony's dying.
But I think Cap is gonna die, and I think the introduction of Captain Marvel is
Because
more of a reason.
Tony is the mentor of.
But I think they almost killed Tony twice.
Nah, but also think about it like this: Spider-Man is gonna be the next Avenger, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how mentors.
Well,
They all get
no. He only got 2 more movies
Well,
on his contract. He's going back to Sony.
He is an Avenger,
But he's going back to Sony after 2 more movies.
Who?
That by the way, that's just so depressing. By the way,
Yeah, I mean he doesn't have a future in Marvel.
I mean, but it's fine. But Tony's getting smoked. RDJ is going,
I don't think so.
and nobody else can play Tony Stark besides RDJ. So smoke him.
Here's the thing. Oh, go ahead,
Chris Evans, smoke him.
I think Cap is gonna die.
Yeah, Captain. No, because if you look at Captain America's entire story, I mean, if Bucky, because I don't know if Bucky's gonna come back. To be honest, but
White Wolf.
Kevin, if
It's not
if Chris Evans is done as Cap, they could always do a thing where Bucky follows up as the next Cap.
Yeah, he will be next.
Because there's been tons of like comic storylines and stuff like that where they've done things like that. So,
but they're already working Bucky to be the White Wolf, so he wouldn't replace.
No, he's not. That's a completely different character. That was just an Easter egg.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was gonna say though, the Iron Man death fake outs. Here's the thing, like as great as this movie was, I didn't necessarily get like emotional at any of the deaths. Like for example, Gamora. I mean, so here's the thing. I think they're all like really good moments and they're great for the story, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I mean, I'm not out here like crying because he threw Gamora over. It was just like, yo, that's dope because like he really did feel something for her.
That's dope.
No, not dope as in like, haha, she's dead. Even though I mean, part of me.
No,
like,
I'm laughing at that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, Fab. Yeah, shout out to Fab. I mean, the thing is like, look, I'm not like, haha, she's dead. Even though part of me kind of is because it's like F Gamora. But here's the thing. I thought it was dope because it's like, yo, like this is such a great character moment for Thanos, man. Like this man does feel human emotions because
that face
he
that
legit
he did, bro.
he legit debunked he debunked it. Like she's like, look, she says like because she's like you love nothing. Like you literally did this and that, blah 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 blah.
Bro.
And he took it. Oh yeah, no, it's sad, but I'm saying like I didn't get emotional. I just recognized it as like such a great moment.
I feel you. I didn't like.
So no. I'm building to a larger point, right? So like, so that's why I fought for that, right? And then for a character like Vision, I actually really like Vision. I just think he's cool.
Bro,
I like
Vision
Vision,
got
right?
clapped twice at that move.
But yeah. But like, I'm not out here crying because Vision got smoked. It was just like it was more
What?
like hype. It was more hype that Thanos showed up here and then just said, "Bitch, rewind, give me that shit." Like that was
What?
that was lit. Like it was just lit. And to be honest with you, most of the disappearance deaths, I wasn't like I was shocked and I was kind of shook, but I wasn't like sad. I was more hyped and excited. I was like, "Yo, Thanos bodied everybody. Let's go!"
No, I
So like
think
my brothers, huh?
no. I was gonna say something. I thought you were done. Go ahead.
Because here's the thing. So my bigger point is this, right? So the point here I'm getting at is like as good as these moments are, I think I come to the realization that for the only MCU characters that their deaths would actually kind of affect me would probably be like the really central ones, like a like maybe like a Thor or like a Cap or an Iron Man. And I think it's just something about like RDJ's performance with Tony Stark and just his longevity with the franchise and how used to him I am that like it just hit me. Like I remember watching Avengers 1 in theaters when he almost died. I was like, "Oh snap. Like don't do it." And same thing here, his death fake out almost got me and my jaw was dropped when he got stabbed through. And so the point I'm
Yeah,
trying to
I
make
thought it
is
was over.
I don't kind of want to make I don't want them to start turning this into like the One Piece death fake out things where it's like, all
Yeah.
right, they're just never gonna kill Tony Stark, so stop teasing it, right? So I do think though he might bite the dust, but it's one of those things also where it's like, dang man, RDJ is really like this one of the real top like just superstars of the MCU because of his performance, and it's like you kind of want to hang on to that as long as possible, and you're in this great dilemma now. It's like you don't want to lose out on his talent, but you
They
also for the
shouldn't.
sake of the story, you want to kill him
No,
off.
for the sake of the story, they shouldn't. It's
They
much
should.
more less impactful if he dies now.
I don't
Excuse
think
me.
he's going to die.
I wouldn't feel a thing because they faked it out twice already. I've lost the best time to kill him was in the
Oh,
first Avengers movie.
Now, if
No,
they
no.
kill
The
Captain
best
hell
time
no,
America,
if they
though,
Yes.
killed him
hell
now.
no,
Because
hell no.
once you fake out, you lose
No,
impact immediately.
it is.
I would
I'll
say
tell you
normally
this.
yes. I would
I'll
say
tell you
normally
this.
yes, Edo,
Always,
but no.
bro.
If he
I can't
does,
remember a time where a
they
death
could
has been
definitely
faked
have a
out.
well executed Tony death in the
No,
next
no,
movie
no,
if they
no.
chose
I'll
to
say
do
this.
so.
I'll say this. One, if you killed him off in the first Avengers movie, you wouldn't have Age of Ultron, and you wouldn't have
Yeah,
Infinity
that's
War,
just stupid, Edo.
which led
No, but
to
I said
Civil War
I don't think they
going
should
down.
have. But I said the best time that they could have done it.
No, they could have
That
done
would
it.
have
That's
Nah,
impacted.
if they
That
killed
would have
if
hit.
they killed him off
nah, that would have
now.
been too soon.
If they
it
killed
would
him
have been
off
so
now,
tonally inconsistent to kill him off in Avengers One. Like
No,
that
it
movie
wouldn't have made
just
sense to kill him off.
This movie part one. This movie was actually the perfect time to kill
this
him
was
off
the
if they
perfect time to
wanted
kill him
to,
off.
and they
And
did.
I think if you did some shit where you killed off Tony Stark, and then in your head it's like, okay, you have Tony as an out, and he can come up with plans and shit, and out of nowhere he just straight bopped, and that nigga is not even on some shit where he's been killed with the Infinity Gauntlet. This man is just straight dead. And then you
so
have
okay.
Shuri come up, and you have her come up with a plan because given that she shows intellect around his level to kind of like heighten her and build up a new star, and then turn her into the female Black Panther down the line because I know they're gonna have future movies.
She's shown that she's smarter than Tony in that movie. Actually,
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So like, so
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was dope.
she's set up for a lot of like promising things that they could do. You know, so here's the thing, guys. Like,
And
when I watched
they
the movie
could
the
have still
second
done,
time,
they could have still done Age of Ultron without Tony. By the way,
I want to. I want to
nah,
talk about which character.
yes,
I
they
want to talk
could.
about
What
which
do you mean?
you're
character.
tripping.
First, Hank Pym
Excuse
is
me,
the one that
everybody.
created
People
Ultron.
like
We'll get
Hank
into that
Pym.
because I know exactly what you're gonna say. But Ed, I
I
was
don't
gonna
think
say. I
so.
mean, guys, what? So when I watched the movie a second time, right? When I was outside talking to some people, I was talking to the guy who runs the comic shop in my area, and he brought up a good point to me. He said that Tony Stark, right? It seems like in a lot of ways he's like the MC of the MCU, and he's their star, and they've always teased and kind of like hung this thing over fans like, yo, we might kill him, and it's gonna break your hearts. And it's kind of ironic that like Infinity War was set up where like it's almost like fans are expecting like some type of consequence, and it's almost like the go-to is like, all right, they might kill Stark, and it's kind of ironic that he's the guy who made it, and a lot of people around him died. And that's when my the guy, the shop owner, was telling me like, yo, there was this late '80s comic of Iron Man, and the issue was literally titled Tony's Nightmare. And Tony's Nightmare was just everybody around him is dead. And it kind of reminds me of didn't like he have like kind of issues with that kind of like PTSD and paranoia and stuff like that in some of the MCU
Yeah,
movies like freaking
Iron Man
like Iron
3.
Man 3
Ultron.
and then Ultron, yeah, right? And
Mhm.
so it's similar and it's almost like parts of this are the consequences of his actions and that's why it kind of hits home more when Thanos says, you're not the only one cursed with knowledge.
Mm.
Because it really it's almost like that superhero thing, kind of like with Spider-Man, where it's like, is this a blessing or a curse? With Tony Stark, it's almost like what his knowledge has gifted him with has now been in some way a part of the extended domino effect that's now led to these events. And so for him to just kind of be the last guy standing with that and everyone else is gone at the moment is just very, very interesting to me.
Man.
Especially with Captain America gone.
Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
is a character point in
Yeah.
Tony's story, where
Mm-hmm.
he's he's like scared that everyone is around him is gonna die. I think that's
Exactly.
how.
And it ends up
I,
And now
happening basically.
yeah,
yeah, it's just
I
Tony's
think
nightmare.
I think it might have been Ultron, the Age of Ultron, or like one of his specific movies, like the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
or third one.
It
I
was
think it was the Age.
It was
it
Age
was
of
Ultron
Ultron.
and Iron
Yeah.
Man
Yeah,
3.
yeah.
But one thing people keep talking about, I think, I think it was very central to the plot. Like this wasn't just like this is more of like a Thanos movie, like we said, but this was centered more around like Nebula and the Guardians of the Galaxy and Thanos than it was like everybody else. To me personally, because a lot of the scenes involved Gamora and Nebula and like their relationship to Thanos, and I think one of like the underrated moments was like every single time that Thanos returned, like because when Gamora told Star Lord to like straight kill her, and then he was struggling, and he finally pulled the trigger, and it became bubbles. I was like, oh, and he just disappeared with her, and he kept doing that. I was like, yo, that's some troll ass shit right there. But it's like it kind of showed me that like as much as a bitch of that we think that Star Lord is, he really was gonna go through with like smoking Gamora. Like that
Which is
nigga pulled the
crazy.
trigger, which is the
Well,
crazy part.
Well, that's a perfect segue. Let's talk about Star Lord. Andre, I know you wanted to.
That's my man.
Andre, I know you wanted to talk about him.
Sim.
What's
uh,
up?
well, it was one of the things that Thanos was always doing in the movie. He was pinning people in situations where they had to choose between a
Yep.
loved one and a
Mm-hmm.
loved one. Like he did it first with Loki and Thor. Like he was getting ready to Thor. Like he put Loki in a situation, let Thor die, or you can tell me give me what I want. And Loki showed that he couldn't just let his brother die, despite the fact that they probably don't like each other. He did it with he did it with somebody else too, other than Thor. Obviously did it with Star Lord and Gamora, and then he did it with Gamora and her sister. And the only person that was able to actually do was Star Lord. So I didn't understand why people were mad at him.
Well, we
I
know
think
why they're mad at
I
him.
think I'm
Why they're coming.
well. Obviously, people are mad at him because he couldn't control himself for like two
I
more
mean, to
seconds.
me, that was one of to me that was one of the bad parts of the movie.
Yeah,
Like,
Wait,
but
what?
here's but
What
here
parts?
here's why it made me upset. Here's why it made me upset. It's not because he couldn't control himself, not specifically because he just couldn't control himself because Gamora died. Because I understand that you're feeling
I
that
don't think
emotion. It's really
I don't
raw.
think that's why
You're
he
going through
did
the.
it.
But here's why it made me mad at him because literally earlier in the movie, when the Guardians when it was him, Drax, Mantis, and Gamora, and they went to go face off Thanos when they went to the Collector's planet,
mm-hmm.
and he was trying to hold Drax back, and he kept telling Drax, hold on, wait, don't just jump in there, control yourself, just wait like 2 more seconds." And he kept trying to hold Drax back, and Drax couldn't hold back. And so he's gonna have that scene, and then follow it up by him doing the exact same thing he was telling Drax not to do. And it was just really annoying to me that
It was
But
that
hypocritical, but it
happened.
was predictable.
here's the thing.
That
Wait.
It was
I
really
kind of missed a little bit. Wait, so
and
what did you guys
it didn't seem
talk about?
intentional.
Wait, what were you guys complaining about? What?
I was talking about I was talking about Star Lord and the fact that it was a bit hypocritical that he was telling Drax to hold his composure and hold back against Thanos and don't just jump in there. He was trying to set up a plan, and then
And then he failed.
he ends up.
You know what it proves to me though. You know what it proves to me though, Adosa?
But it didn't seem.
It's one
But
of those.
it didn't seem intentional in the movie. It didn't seem like they were trying to make a point.
Because oh yeah,
It just seemed like they
because I mean,
forgot about
you could
that
argue
scene.
that it shows that like you really don't know until you're in the same circumstance situation,
But
and
they didn't
so
like. It didn't seem like that's.
they didn't like. I mean,
Wait, hold up.
I don't know if there's a way to really spell that out
Yeah.
in
Go ahead, Nuna.
Do you guys think that it was like hold on. Do you guys think he was mad that Thanos killed Gamora, or do you think he was more mad that he didn't kill her when she asked him to, and that's what resulted in her death?
Probably both. He's probably feeling a lot.
Yeah, cause I
Because
mean,
I
here's
feel
the
like I
thing.
wasn't that mad at him, because that's why, because like he
You
didn't
were mad
kill
at him for
her.
what? For what? Like snapping at Thanos?
Yeah, I mean, don't get me
I mean,
wrong, that was
I saw it coming. To be honest, it was an expected reaction. Like I know he's gonna. I was like, he's
yeah.
gonna find out. He's gonna find out Gamora dies, and he's gonna totally mess this up because he's gonna lose his mind. He's not gonna be able to keep composure.
Yeah.
Well,
And
On its
Gamora,
face. Go ahead.
Gamora's probably the worst character in the
Yo, go ahead,
movie, to be
Andre.
honest
You're
with you.
speaking to the choir. Go ahead. Go in.
wait, what happened? What happened?
Go ahead.
She's the worst
He said
character.
Gamora's
She's
the
the
worst
worst character. She's the
Go
worst
ahead,
character in the
Andre.
movie.
What are your reasons? I mean, I don't like Gamora in general. Actually,
There's a specific.
go ahead.
The reason she's the hold on. The reason she's the worst character is because she's the only one that knows where the Soul Stone is, and like
Okay.
she's trying to tell
No,
her.
no. She knew where the map was. She didn't
She
know
knew where
the
the map
actual.
was.
Well, she's trying to tell people,
Mm-hmm.
like that's important information. You're trying to tell someone they need to kill you because of what? Like you need to tell someone why exactly.
She did tell Star-Lord, like, I know
No,
something that Thanos wants to know.
No, but
She did say that.
that's important information, especially given the fact that y'all had just met Thor, and like y'all all know that where he's going. Like y'all, she should have told them so they can make a
He
plan.
has
Kind
such
of.
a big.
No, but
heart.
Andre, you gotta remember.
Who is Nuna?
No, because
Gamora. I wasn't expecting her to have such a
had
big
Gamora
heart.
told them,
That's her daughter, though. I knew that was gonna happen.
listen, had Gamora told them where's that,
Anybody.
they could have just went there, right, and technically killed Red Skull because Red Skull is the one that told them how to get the Soul Stone.
Of course, they can kill Russell. But Andre,
Right.
you have to think about it.
Hey, shout out to that
You
Red
have-
Skull cameo, by the way. That was
You have
dope.
to think
That was
about it
witty.
like from
It
Gamora's
was
side.
lit.
I'm not
Red
disputing the
Skull.
fact that she may be the worst character in the whole thing, but you have to
That
remember
was
that
Steve
her
Rogers.
and Nebula already have beef with this dude, so they're already selfish and they want to be the ones to kill him themselves. And the fact that Thor just got his ass beat by this nigga, you really think she's gonna trust him with those to make a plan? What the hell are they gonna do?
Anybody
Anybody
would
would've
have got their ass whooped by playing Arsenal. But
I mean,
my thing is like
I'm saying
that's
and
important information.
it's a selfish thing.
That's important information that people need. That's my point. Like that was completely selfish on hand to hold that information in.
Yeah, but I think
'Cause
that
at
it's
that
good for
point,
her
it's just like-
character though, because it shows kind of the impact it's had on her to make her that selfish to the point. In accordance, in what's the word? In compliance with the fact that the way that her whole cold nature and the way she looks at the world and everything. I mean, I understand it, but it's like I'm just trying to say I understand
also-
it. To be honest.
I don't know. I wasn't that her death scene to me was probably the worst because like it was the most predictable thing. Like once they said you got to sacrifice someone
Yeah.
that you, like,
You know this
oh,
building
you about
too,
to
like-
kill Gamora. Like,
Yeah.
as soon as he said that, oh, you want to kill Gamora? Like, I already know what you're.
Yeah. I told my brother. I don't think it hurts the scene though, but like, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was telegraphed to me. Like
But
the minute he says that, and then she's like, "Haha,
Well,
there you go,
basically-
Thanos." Like, "Haha, you lose." And I'm like,
Here-
"No, he's gonna kill her."
here's my deeper problem. With
Little one is
Gamora.
someone I like.
Do you know how? Go ahead, Andre. Go ahead.
Like, but they don't really show why he loved her though. Like,
Exactly.
why did he?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you.
They don't really show why he.
Exactly. And here's the problem with Guardians. Seeing this movie makes me even more mad at the Guardians of the Galaxy movies because they could take the time in those movies to set up their relationship so that I care about it in this movie. But instead, they're digging around all the time,
face
telling
gunnets.
jokes like they're in stand-up comedy.
Hey,
So,
No.
oh,
relationship
that's
in the
some
movies
Edo
that-
anger, bro.
In the
You
movie,
know,
they're
like-
supposed to develop him in. I don't care about Thanos and Gamora's relationship in this movie.
Well, yeah.
Because I have
So
no
here's what I,
context.
yeah. So here's the thing. I don't think it needs to show really too much about like why he loves her, but it does.
Yes.
I do think. But let me finish. But yeah, I do agree with you that like maybe in some of the previous movies or in this movie, kind of give me more of a reason to be invested in their dynamic. Even though I don't think any of their scenes together were bad at all. Like I
Their scenes
do-
were bad, but they could have been so much better.
Yeah, like in the
You
first
think?
movie, you should establish like maybe a scene that shows like him actually thinking about like, yo, I kind of like, because all we got was like how they met, and we still
Exactly.
understand why.
All we got is how
So
they
look, the how they met scene.
skipped all the
the,
relationship part.
So listen, the how they met scene, the scene where they're having the conversation, and it basically is the exposition of why Thanos wants the Infinity Gems, and then the killing scene are the three major scenes with him and Gamora, and what I would say is all those scenes are strong scenes, but
I know, but
I
why did he
get
choose her out of that? Why did he choose her out of all the kids that was
that is a
born
good
there?
question. Like when I
If
was
you
watching
remember,
when I
I
was
think that was
watching,
interpreted
I was
though.
like, oh, I mean,
But he did say something. He did say something like he
He
said you
said
have
he's
a lot of
strong.
fight. You said
No,
you have a
he
lot of
said
fight in you.
because
Yeah.
yeah,
Andre,
yeah, like he said
remember
that.
what was happening
I guess he's just
when he
lucky. I
was
don't
when
know.
they were destroying everything. Everyone else was running, and she was just standing there looking around,
Yeah, and she was.
asking where
Yeah,
her
that's
parents
what.
were.
And she
Yeah,
was
he
like
said.
shoving
I guess he wasn't shook from
off.
genocide, so
And she like shoved off
Yeah,
one
he
of
was
the
like.
guards away from her.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think he saw that. He's like, in the face of adversity, I would like somebody like this. And granted, I don't know
But
why they
I don't
they
understand
hype
why
it
they
up.
didn't. You can literally take that backstory scene, cut it out of this movie, and place it into
I'm going mute again.
nah,
any other
you
Guardians of
had
the
to
You have to
Galaxy
put
put
that
it
in
in
there.
this
Wait,
movie.
wait,
You
wait,
No,
wait, wait,
no,
you
wait,
no,
had
wait,
to
no,
put
no,
wait,
that
no,
in.
no, you
wait.
don't.
What
No,
we
no, no,
talking
you
about? Hold
don't.
on, rewind.
Yes,
You can
you
literally
do.
cut
Yeah,
that scene out, place it in one of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies, and replace that scene with more development with Gamora and Thanos as they're growing up together.
Totally
Also, she's
inconsistent
getting older.
for Guardians, in my
it
opinion.
is.
It
I
is.
think
What?
that
No,
No,
I
no,
that's the
what?
problem.
No,
no
no.
for
I don't.
Guardians.
Wait, I don't agree
Listen,
with that.
That's the
I'll say
problem
I
with
don't
the
agree with that
movies.
part.
I somewhat agree. I somewhat agree with what you're saying. In Guardians 2, I don't think in Guardians
Yeah,
1
we
they
should
did
have
it.
got some
There you
Thanos
go.
context in
And,
there a little bit
yeah,
more.
we should have because you had Star Lord who had the whole dad thing,
Yeah,
and you could have had her kind
To
of
parallel it.
bond. Yeah, you could have them parallel a little bit to give us even more. But I don't think you can do that in Guardians 1 because
Yeah, yeah.
you
Plus,
can't
it's
do that
too
in 1.
early.
You
It's
can
too
do it in the
early
second.
in the phase.
Yeah,
I mean, I do feel like there's an element to it of also that they don't want to give you too much Thanos before his actual movie where it's his coming out party, if that makes any sense.
mm-hmm.
Because it's kind of like because this is kind of like just that's why it's his movie and it's kind of like yo, this is Thanos like him full bald head, purple man and all like with the
but,
scrotum shield. Like
the
that's why.
problem, Ebu, is there's 27 characters in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
So
But I
yeah,
mean, wait,
well, like, they're like
he got the focus though.
yeah, and he got
Which
most of the focus. But I'm saying it could have been even if you don't want to show a lot of Thanos, that scene was what, a minute and a half. You can't show a
What
minute. The
the
backstory.
Infinity Stone thingy?
No, the thing when he found Gamora.
Oh, that was less than that.
Yeah, I
Actually,
mean,
no, it was like 2 minutes. It was like 2 minutes.
yeah, you can't show 2 minutes in the second Guardians movie.
no, well, then again, the second Guardian movie wasn't centered around her.
I think you
past
have to
family
remember. Actually,
relationship.
I will say this: the Gamora movie did impact me a little bit because when you watch, because the first Guardians movie, you don't give a fuck about Gamora. Let's keep it 100. I
don't care about it in the second one. Or the
second
I didn't.
one,
I
think
cared more
this is the
about
first
Nebula
movie.
second,
had her-
to be honest.
I was gonna
You
say
had-
this is the first movie where I liked Gamora,
yeah,
or
you had her
like
in the
didn't
second
dislike her.
movie. Have her sister come in, and then you kind of see a little bit of what Thanos has done. And I feel like if you had switched Gamora with Nebula, that would have been again way more impactful. But then again, he hates that bitch
For sure. Nebula is so much better than Gamora. And the only scene I like with Gamora is when she stops Thanos from ripping apart Nebula. Because in the second Guardians movie, when she mentions that you've always just watched me get tortured and you never done anything to stop it, and she finally did. I like that scene a lot. But other than that, it just made me even more mad. Like they could have really established this.
Actually, since y'all are speaking about this, I just realized this. This is the criticism I have. I just thought about it because I didn't really think about it like this. Since we're speaking about Nebula, I think that Gamora's hatred for Thanos is way less justified than
The Nebula's, yes.
And now
Way
that I'm
less.
thinking about it, I'm like, wait, why did you have Gamora be the one who loves Thanos, even though he's smoking her? It's like, well, you had a family, and you were like 5 years old, and he kind of gave you the world and everything, but you kind of grow to respect him, and then you have your sister Nebula, you build her up like you did in Guardians 2, and have her be the one who Thanos realized that he loves more than you because even though you were the one he treated the most, Nebula was the one that worked the hardest and whatnot. And then Nebula thinks he hates her even though he turned her into a fucking mechanical being or whatever. And that would have been very impactful, personally. It should have been Nebula. I thought about that.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's my
you said
one big critique.
Nebula. Wait, you think Nebula should have been killed?
But Gamora,
It should be Nebula.
Gamora is a higher, but Gamora is a more popular character, so you know.
I
Yeah,
agree
she's a
with
Guardian.
Kevin.
She's a Guardians cast member, so it just
Has more impact on that.
yeah.
Go ahead, Nuna. What were you gonna say?
I agree with Kevin.
Yeah, I think it would have been smarter. I think because Nebula to me is much more interesting, and
I agree with that.
I care about her struggle a lot more. But
I'm not gonna lie,
understand
I
why,
like green skin, so it is what it
you know,
is.
politics, whatever.
Oh,
But
I'm
do
not
you
gonna lie.
guys
Yo,
think, do you guys think Gamora?
what's wrong with Mantis, bro?
Do you guys think
The
Gamora?
Mantis is lit.
I
Yeah,
agree.
I like Mantis.
Yeah, Mantis is hilarious. You guys think Gamora is permanently dead?
I hope so.
Hell no.
Yeah. Yes.
No,
You think she's
Adosa.
permanently
even
dead?
You don't
even though
remember?
I don't know. Was she pre-snap? She was
No,
pre-snap.
yeah,
She's dead as fuck.
Yes.
Dead fuck. Till otherwise.
You
What
think
if
so?
what if Gamora dies and Nebula replaces her in the Guardians?
I think that's what might happen.
I think that would
I
be a
do
good
think
move.
that I don't think she's dead, to be honest, because
I don't think
at
so.
the end of
either.
the movie, not at the end of the movie, like near the end, when Thanos is in that little area after he
Mhm.
disappears and whatnot. You don't remember they show like the mini Gamora? That's supposed to
Yeah.
be like her soul thing. So
Right.
I don't think anybody's even really. I don't think people are dead. That they're probably just in another dimension or
I
something.
think I was talking about like Guardians 1 and Guardians 2.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I didn't have an issue with really Star Lord's decision, like him spazzing out when he found out Gamora died.
Mhm.
Because in the Guardians 2, we seen that when he learned that his dad killed his mom, he snapped, and like
Right.
it's shown that Star Lord, he reacts to women that they love when they lose their lives. He reacts that way, so it's consistent with the character.
Right. It is.
Mhm.
And you're right. It is. It's just weird that they would put that scene in him talking down Jax. I just like.
Yeah, I just think
Almost
they
back
could
to
have
back.
executed.
It's
I
the
think that
irony of
shows-
it, don't you?
I think that
Not
shows
everyone
how
has to
messed
practice
up
what
he
they
was
preach,
by it.
though.
Like,
Yeah, that's the thing. Like you don't really know until you're in a situation, which is
Yeah.
why.
I understand what you guys are saying, and that makes sense. But it doesn't. That I feel like that's how you can interpret
That's
it as a viewer. But I don't think that was intentional as a writer.
Well, come on, it's the
I
Russo
think it
brothers.
was-
It is. Come on, man. It's the Russo brothers. You really think that they're gonna just come on, man? The Cloutso brothers. You think they didn't?
It
Come
didn't
on.
feel intentional to me. It felt like they almost
the
forgot.
whole-
I mean, listen, they're not gonna beat you over the head with it. That's the thing. Like,
Now, in Guardians 1, there is
I don't need you to beat me over the head with it. But
in Guardians 1, they do explain why Gamora doesn't like Thanos. Like, there is like the reason why, because I think she didn't like the fact that she was always pinned against her sister.
I
oh
think-
yeah,
that was
yeah,
the reason
yeah,
why.
That
yeah.
and
was the
she
reason.
knew the fact that she was
That was
kidnapped
that
and
was
had
in
her
one.
people killed.
I remember that in like number 2, but yeah, I remember that. I do remember that. 'Cause I
That's the
watched
reason
movie
why.
a month
That's the
ago.
reason. That's one of the reasons she didn't like Thanos. She didn't like Thanos. One, how he killed her whole family,
Whole race.
whole race. One, he always pit the sisters against each other. Nebula didn't like Gamora because she always won, which caused her to get experimented on.
Right.
And Gamora, she can't really do anything about that in particular.
Mhm.
And and in Guardians 2, there's a scene where I think she saves her sister from something, doesn't she? Like they have a heart-to-heart moment.
Yeah.
Yeah,
during
that
the
was
fight.
a beautiful moment.
They have a heart-to-heart moment.
Yeah. And that's for the quote.
that was great. That was great. That part of the movie was great.
So
It's made-
all that makes sense. I just didn't like
Yeah.
that Gamora withheld that information regarding.
Oh, about the stone
soul
itself. Yeah. Did anybody else? Did anybody else?
But
pop?
you don't
Did
think it
anyone
should?
else-
You don't think it should have been Nebula, Andre? You don't think Nebula would have been better since she had an actual
Nah.
hatred?
No, I don't find Nebula as interesting as Gamora.
Really?
Yeah, I don't find.
I think she
Interesting.
is, but she's not as important as Gamora.
Really, Andre, you
So-
don't think your father bringing home this girl that you never met before out of nowhere, and she's basically the golden child and growing up with that your whole life, and she's always beating you? And you always
That's like a
Stopping
Sasuke
for
thing. It's like a Sasuke.
kind of. That seems great to me.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Captain
That
America.
sounds amazing to me, man.
That
I don't-
seems
That
great.
sounds
It's
great.
just her whole thing was just like her whole thing is based off jealousy.
Exactly. That's great. All of that's
but Nebula's whole thing is just one. It's trying to learn about emotion. Having this thing about you, where as though you've been taught to be this trained assassin, and now you're starting to gain this type of emotion where you're starting to care about your teammates, and you're starting to find quote unquote love with Star-Lord. No, I think her story just has a lot more into it versus Nebula, where it's just all about you're just jealous because I'm better than you at the end of the day.
No, but Andre, we're not talking about
but she's not. But
her
that's
overall. We're just talking about in relation to Thanos. I agree with you, Gamora, in terms of like overall, because I do want to see her relationship with Star-Lord. But in relation to Thanos, Nebula would have been a better candidate.
No,
Personally, I think would
Wait,
have
did
worked
we
more.
sacrifice? That would have been impossible. He doesn't love her.
He should have loved her,
He doesn't.
which is even more interesting.
which would have been better. Because it was
He
like
doesn't
I
love his own
still love
daughter.
you.
Why? Why doesn't he love his own daughter?
What the hell is that girl done to that nigga? What is he so mad about her? But
Man, Guardians of the Galaxy could have been so much better.
I haven't seen those movies.
could've been
Wait,
Edo's Guardians
good.
better
It
than
could have been a really good movie, man.
The
I
first-
get it. People like the
the first-
jokes in the adventure, but man,
Yeah. Wait, hold on.
if Zack
You
Snyder was
really
that,
think
Nah,
was useful?
nah, Edo, we don't need Star Wars melodrama in Guardians, man.
I want the darkness, man. I want the family drama.
I don't need
No, you-
all
no.
that. I don't need all
You-
that
you-
edge in my movies. I need some
you-
happy
but-
shit in my shit.
No, I mean, no. I mean, I don't mind darkness and edge in movies, but like, I don't need that in Guardians.
But Nebula is not a biological child of Thanos in the movies, though.
I'm pretty sure
True.
she was.
No,
No, but like,
she
Was she?
was just she was just the first child Thanos
Yeah.
brought along. That's not his biological.
Yeah, that's right.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, but you know what we mean. Like, she was first. Obviously, they built a connection, hopefully, or whatever.
There's a
Yeah,
reason
to
why.
say.
Bane cameo.
There's a reason why Thanos chose Gamora over Nebula, because Gamora knew how to control her emotions. Like, that was the whole point of Thanos, is the fact that you got to learn how to control your emotions through tough times, through tough decisions. And Nebula couldn't, because you can always tell she was always angry.
I see, Andre, and I guess we just find things about characters interesting, like different. Like, people who can't control their emotions, that's like I want to see that. People who struggle with their emotions, that's what I'm interested in. I don't care about Gamora, who can barely emote and walking around stone face. I care about Nebula, who's pissed off at the world. I want to see that.
I mean, but
I understand
her being pissed off, to me, like, the reason for being pissed off has to be justified to me.
I think she does. I think she's jealous of Gamora, that she's better than her at almost everything. She's jealous that Thanos loves her more, and she knows it.
Facts.
And she's pissed that you watched me get tortured all these times and you've never done anything about it.
But what was she supposed to do?
Something.
Like what?
Speak.
What are you talking about?
Did you not
Yo,
see what he did
why
to
are you
Hulk?
acting like Gamora couldn't have killed herself?
Yo, listen.
She could have put herself.
Thanos gave that man 2 Popeyes biscuits, man, with no drink.
But we know now that Thanos isn't gonna hurt Gamora.
2 Popeyes biscuits, Joe. So not 1, 2 Popeyes biscuits.
But he's not gonna
Hey,
hurt.
Star Wars.
He's not gonna like
suffer,
punch.
bro.
He's not gonna punch Gamora or anything, or he's not gonna smack her in the face.
That is true. That is fact.
Now
He might toss her off a cliff here and there, but he's not gonna like.
we got to talk about Thor now.
Oh
Yo,
yeah.
Thor,
MVP?
man.
MVP?
Bro.
MVP Thor?
Listen,
I did not expect that from Thor at all, bro.
This man took the full blast of a star.
DC feet.
Listen.
The Groot scene, that was so cute.
Oh my goodness. Yo, listen. When he Stormbreaker.
Stormbreaker, bro.
And he give me
Where's the handle?
And he jumped up and smacked the ground. Oh my god. Thor is freaking amazing, man.
When
That's the God of Thunder I wanted to see in the
Yes.
Thor movie, bro. I needed to see
A
that.
little disappointed that Valkyrie wasn't in this, but still.
Nah, I don't need her.
I'm pretty sure she got
I
popped,
mean,
but
I could always no, she
Valkyrie
did not. No, she didn't.
he truly was the God of Thunder.
Yes.
Uh,
Wait,
that was
wait.
cute. How Groot helped with the shit. What was that?
Oh, with the handle?
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
I can't believe they made Peter Dinklage a giant. That was a stupid.
Yo, that was so funny. I was like, yo, Peter
that was
Dinklage,
hilarious.
they made a midget
It
look giant.
I'm not gonna lie, it took me out of it a little bit. I don't like Peter Dinklage.
Hilarious.
No, why is he
It
in
was
the
so
movie? Honestly?
fantasy comic book that I loved.
Yeah, but it didn't ruin the movie for me. It took me out of the scene a little bit because you can't help but think about Game of Thrones.
I love watching
But like,
I just didn't see it coming. Like, whoa,
Peter
he's in there.
Peter Dinklage is so dope.
That was the best part of the.
he has a great voice. Great voice.
No,
Where's the
That's part of what
I mean, we can just jump. I mean, is Thanos the best Marvel villain?
Wait, before we get
Yes.
to that, I want to talk about wait, before we get to that, please, I want to discuss something. So because every MCU has it, let's talk about the humor in this movie.
Yo, there's some
I feel like-
hilarious scenes at some.
Yeah,
The directing.
So my stance on MCU humor in general usually is that for the most part it's always usually pretty good, but my thing is always about when to pull the trigger on it and when not to, right? And that's always been my thing. And I appreciate Black Panther because I just don't think it's the type of story that really needs all these kind of like characters quipping and being witty, and so they didn't do it, and I appreciated that, right? But in this situation, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes. Well,
With so many new characters interacting with each other, I was like, you kind of have to kind of there are moments that do necessitate humor, and so the way I feel about it is, I think for the most part, the majority of it in this film was actually on point, and if you notice when we got to the final, the fights in the two locations in the last phase, there wasn't like random jokes and stuff like that.
Right.
The only time I really wasn't kind of feeling it, like I feel like sometimes they do the MCU. I feel like sometimes the MCU puts these jokes where they're literally designed specifically just to make a mass audience in the theater have a quick chuckle for the hell of having a quick chuckle, and I feel like those moments were some of the moments in the beginning of the movie, and I guess it's kind of just to sell the audience in, and I understand why it exists, but like I don't necessarily need to have Cap going, dude, you're embarrassing me in front of the Wizards, or like even though the Squidward joke was cute, it's just like I don't know, man. Like
That was out of place. It made me chuckle, but it was out of place.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like it's just kind of like LOL Squidward, but
No,
it's
but
like
you gotta remember, it's Tony,
Thanos' children pull up to New York, and you're like Squidward, like I don't know, but or like there was one more, and I can't think of it. Oh, I mean, look, here's the one I struggle with, right? It's tough to put Star-Lord, a character who is who he is, in a situation this serious, right? And like when to kind of let him be Star-Lord and when to like let him be serious, right? Because like when he got in Thanos' face when they were on, I think it was when they were in Nowhere, when Thanos was faking him out with the Collector, right? When he got his gun in Thanos' face, like even though this was very funny, and again the theater like popped dying laughing, it felt so kind of weird where like
ball sack of the chin.
Yeah, I mean that was funny, but like when he said like he's like I'm a booty call, whatever he said, the thing he like describing himself. I was like
a long term booty call.
I was like, what do you? I'm like that was mad funny, but it's like, yo, in 10 seconds from now in the scene, he's about to be like faced with possibly killing his girlfriend. Like it just kind of feels weird. Like that
almost did it.
Yeah, like I'm like, how we go from that to like, yo, I'm about to smoke my girl? Like this is a little. I always find those kind of trends.
Go ahead.
Huh?
Go ahead, Nuna.
Oh, I don't think Guardians humor mixes with the rest of the MCU.
No,
I think it does, but no, actually, no, I disagree with that. I think it does, but no, I think you're actually totally wrong, Nuna, because like when they're like with Thor and stuff, and like Batista, like I call him Batista, but yeah, Drax is like just being gay for Thor and stuff, and they're kind of like just talking about his body. Like that was funny. Or yeah, like that. He was like,
I
that is not a
think
dude.
Thor, because of the
You are a
Thor
dude.
revamp, they made Thor a lot more comical in Ragnarok, and his comedy fits with
Yeah.
Guardians. I don't think
Yeah. Thor.
really fits with anybody else, but with Thor,
Yeah.
yes. With Thor, yes.
No, I still disagree because think about it. Like, I mean, first of all, Rocket's like Bucky's totally different than Rocket, and yet their brief interactions work. When Groot says, "I am Groot," I am Steve Rogers. Like I was like, that was funny. like that was funny. Like it's weird. Like they work. Like it shouldn't, right? Because these characters are so totally different, and obviously, like freaking Don Cheadle, it would be mad awkward to see like Don Cheadle and Scarlett Johansson talking to like Drax and Rocket. Like that would just feel really out of place because I feel like they're in two completely opposite sides of the MCU. But I feel like they found creative pairings, and for the most part, worked on screen. Yeah, like, it worked because they found the pairings that it wouldn't come off awkward. I feel like Black Widow would just be weird with the Guardians. You know what I mean? Or characters like that, like on like the Cap side. But
I think characters that are different work well together because there's a lot of comedy to gain out of that.
Spider-Man worked well with the Guardians, and even like his interactions, like for like the whole like the one that's in the trailer, like when he's like I'm Spider, I know he said I'm Peter, and he's like Doctor Strange, and he's like also we're using our made up names. Like I feel like
I had no issue with the comedy.
I was gonna say no. That's what I was saying, Andre. I was gonna say literally the majority of the jokes in this film are actually on point. Like,
I mean, you guys know how I feel about the comedy.
Yeah.
It's not dark for you.
Edo just had to accept it. He's like, hey, man, Marvel's taking these W's. I'm going to just let them do it.
At this point, Marvel's Marvel. That's the tone that they're always going to have. If they're going to have this tone in Infinity Wars, there's nothing else I have to say.
No, but here's the deal. It wasn't a tone, though, because here's the thing. When it needed to really, really, really get serious, it was. It's one of those things where it's like, it keeps itself at this kind of basis where it's like they're letting like things feel like there is tension and there is like stakes to it. While not like making you kind of feel uncomfortable like for most of the film, and then like towards the last act of the film is usually where like the remaining jokes kind of get stripped away and they really 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 get down to it. So I think it works.
I don't want to be this guy. Marvel's taking W's, like they're doing great. So who cares what I think?
No, man.
But as long as Marvel has that, I can never feel scared. Like throughout the whole movie, I never once did I ever feel like, oh my gosh, like is he really going? Like when Black Panther was disappearing, when Spider-Man was disappearing.
Oh, I mean, I didn't feel that.
When Loki died,
for that.
No. When he bopped the Asgardians and when Tony got stabbed, I'm like, oh snap.
Literally, I didn't feel much, and I don't want to be that guy. I'm just being honest. I didn't feel much for any death or disappearance whatsoever.
What is wrong with you?
So to be honest, I mean, I'm the same way, and yet I don't think.
Yeah, but us for different reasons.
No.
Yours is because you're rooting for Thanos, and it's good. But me is because
I'm not. No, I mean, I'm not rooting for Thanos, but it's just like, damn, he accomplished that. That's impressive.
But for me, it's the tone. I never feel stakes. I never feel stakes in Marvel movies.
Hey,
that's cool because they're entertaining, so it makes up for it. But I never, as long as they have that tone, I never feel stakes.
As far as the deaths, listen, the Spider-Man death probably hit me the hardest. So like, this is why Tony never wanted him to be with the Avengers.
That's another thing that made
he
it
understood.
Go like, wow,
like, this is serious, kid. Like you got your whole life ahead of you. Like,
man.
Bro, I'm about to cry again. Can we?
I feel like the. Good. I feel like the other films bring this kind of subtle irony to a lot of these situations. like Andre said, like with the whole Spider-Man thing, Tony really just never wanted to put him in this position, and this man has been like a surrogate father to Peter, and it's one of those things where it's like, damn, man, like this is what happens when I let you be an Avenger. Like what I've been trying to prevent this whole time of you really getting into a serious situation. This is what happens, and then like if you go even beyond that, goddamn, what was the other one? Oh, wait, now I remember. Doctor Strange, right? I don't know if you guys even remember this, but
this was the only
what's it called? Mordo was telling Doctor Strange, like, look, man, drawing power from the dark dimension is problematic for so many reasons. He said, like, look, first of all, drawing farther from the dark dimension, using that Eye of Agamotto, which contains an Infinity Stone, he like made it clear like that puts a target on your back. There's too many sorcerers. You're using things that you just shouldn't use. You're perverting with the laws of nature, and in the end, it's going to bring all these conflicts and problems to you that I don't want to be a part of, and that's why I'm out. And when you think about it, Mordo, as much of a hoe as he was acting about the whole situation, he was right because the Eye of Agamotto technically did bring Thanos over to his location because he wanted the time stone. And so there's just that whole irony of things where it's just like, damn, man. Like there's that.
I
There's the
think
whole
it's the
Captain
little
thing where it's
things,
like,
the little things in this movie when you really call back, like to some of the stuff in Doctor Strange and some of the stuff in the Spider-Man movies and some of the stuff in the like the original Captain America movie, Civil War. All of that just has more of an impact when you watch it. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
When you really think about
yeah.
it enhances the movie much more like when you're just watching it as a standalone. I mean, I don't
And
know.
like yeah, because Spider-Man's death hit me the most, and then like the Black Panther death hit me hard too, and like
Really?
because like because he goes to Okoye, he's like, this is not the proper place for a burial,
Yeah.
And then he
and like,
instantly starts with
and
her.
he just crumbles right in front of her, and it's just like she spent her entire life dedicated to like making sure that the king stays the king, he never dies. She's the shield. And like she's just like she witnessed him just crumbles right in front of her. And
See,
like,
and I wish I
Same
could
with
feel
Rocket.
that.
Do you remember earlier when Rocket was like, I do have a
Yeah.
lot to lose? And that we was talking about?
or like
Can y'all
or
like my
in Groot
Instagram picture?
No.
and Groot's disappearance fucked me up because like Rocket low key was like kind of like Scottie Pippen to like Thor
Yeah,
in the movie. So like when Groot's disappearing, Rocket's just like, oh shit, like
He's like, no.
yeah, it's just like, and like listen, I know like we all know like these characters coming back today. The sequel's already been announced and shit, but it's just like even me knowing that it's still
It doesn't take away from the
hit
quality
me
of like
hard.
what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it still hit me as a fan, like just as a viewer, like yo, people are dying, like
Not even just that, like Thanos
fuck-
accomplished his goal. Like
yeah, like
he
Thanos
stones
accomplished
and
his
wiped
goal.
out half of life.
Like Loki got his neck snapped. He threw Gamora
He
off
said
the
he
cliff.
Loki got his next.
Oh, can we talk about Loki?
Did.
real quick?
Yeah,
I don't think I think it was I don't think it was the right decision to kill Loki that fast.
Me
Nah,
neither.
it was a good decision.
First of all, the scene
Good
seemed a little
business move.
it seemed a little clunky when he went back and said like, "Oh, I'll join you guys." And second of all, I think Loki should have been a part of the Black Order. That's what I thought originally.
No, that's
stupid. Hell
That
no.
is
screenshot
stupid.
in the
What?
trailer. That's that screenshot in the trailer when he's standing next to all them.
That
I
was
was
a
like, oh man, Loki
misdirection,
joined
though.
the Black Order.
He would have looked like he would have looked like a bandwagon hoe.
That's
He
exactly
Plus,
what
he
he is,
failed.
though.
Wait,
That
he
is
failed.
Nah,
Wait,
I
no,
can't
he
get
failed
down.
his
Wait,
mission the
Loki-
first movie. Why the hell would he go
Wait,
back?
hold on, wait.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
say-
that's
Why would he let
corny.
him
Edo,
join
that's
them
corny.
after
Wait,
failing?
you just said Loki isn't a bandwagon?
No, I'm saying that'd be corny. That'd be corny if it's just like the guy who got bopped in Avengers 1. Now he's out here just hoeing out on Team Thanos, like just still being
I don't know.
being
Yeah,
a little
but-
bandwagon hoe.
That seems like what Loki would do. That seems exactly what.
No, but
But
Loki's developed past that point, bro.
Yeah.
So now that
Yeah.
so now
No,
having
not-
in the third Avengers movie,
Did he though?
sacrifice his
Because
life
he
to save
stole
Thor.
the Tesseract. So did
Okay.
he?
He that doesn't mean he hasn't changed as a person or he hasn't changed a
changed
little bit.
but at the end of the day, he always makes the best business moves for himself, not for anybody else.
Yeah, but listen, he saved his
characters can
brother's
develop,
life.
but not completely change.
Yeah, I mean, he changed a little bit. And
He
here's
changed
the
a
thing.
little
I
bit,
mean,
yeah.
obviously, the fundamental nature of who he is as a person
It doesn't
isn't
mean he
going to
has
be
to kill
changed because
Thor.
that'd be so unrealistic.
He doesn't have
But
to kill Thor. He can just go after the Infinity Stones. He doesn't have to kill anybody. Seems like something Loki would do.
Yeah, I think he wasn't denying his identity. He was just accepting Thor in the end, and that's kind of what messed me up. Cause like in the end, he knew he was gonna die, but he acknowledged it, and like he called Odin like father. That's wow.
And like his attempt to kill Thor was like, bro, really? You thought he's about to just walk up to him and stab him? I don't
didn't
know.
think
It just
so.
didn't seem. It didn't seem like
Locally,
I didn't like. I didn't like Loki's death.
I
Did
think
y'all think Thanos was right though?
No,
about
he was
what?
mad. Insane.
I mean, technically, I mean, if you want to get morbid,
I don't know.
yes.
I was like low key supporting him, and
I mean, it's
You're
kind of
You know,
it's kind of
you
sick.
know,
Yeah, I guess.
you know what's funny about Thanos? He reminds me of a few Gundam villains, where like Kevin, I don't know if you remember, like his
Which
ideals are
one?
very his ideals are very similar to Giran from the Zabi family, because his whole thing is just there's too many goddamn people here eating our resources across the board and everything, and do all these people deserve it? Except with Giran, that dude, his thing was just like, yo, why don't we just literally just go survival of the fittest out here? Whereas Thanos is just, how will we not let people get born into situations where their life isn't going to be anything meaningful? And so let me create a world where all the people are born into situations where they could prosper. So it on the surface it seems noble, but at the same time it's still sociopathic to just kill off half of the universe. And so, um,
I have to mute
I
you.
mean that. Wait, what's up?
if there's someone mute me.
Or go ahead.
You said something, Doja?
No, I had to mute Andre. Go ahead.
Oh, so yeah. I mean, do I? Is he right? Are you asking me? I mean, he has a point to an extent, but I mean, that doesn't mean you can just wipe off half of life. Like
Yes, it does.
that's more of
I'm
a that's
not saying
more
he was right to do
no
what he
no
was
no oh no
doing.
listen, you know what that is, wiping off half of life is a cock flexing justification for noble ideals, man. It's like, look, I'm gonna do it because I can, and hey, man, at the end of the day, if you want to pull a
No one
boss,
else
at the end of
will.
the day, man, yeah, at the end of the day, man, the world needs half of you guys gone. But the whole at random thing, it does bring up an interesting thing. Christian Saray and Boss's group made a post about the movie, and I will give him
Oh
I
God.
will even though he's a goon, I will give him kind of fair points here where he says like, why can't Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet, since he's pretty much omnipotent, why can't he just create enough resources in the world to just suit all the people that are in it instead of just wiping off half of life?
I have a rebuttal
You
to
know what I
that.
mean? What's up?
I
There was
answered his
actually
question to that. I answered his
yeah
question to that. I
Oh,
think I
you
know what
did?
Kevin. Yeah, I know what Kevin's. I think I know what Kevin's gonna say. So I'm gonna let him go.
yeah. I was gonna say there is a what's it called? There's a verse in which Thanos actually did try that, and it had a lot of disastrous effects. So
Really?
there's a reason he's not. Yes, it was called the
An,
cancer. It was called the cancer
an
verse.
excess of everything?
Oh
Like
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the cancer verse. Like the cancer verse is a result of um
the
there being
cancer
too
verse
much
is
of
just the
something.
culture.
No, no,
Wait,
no,
continue.
but the cancer verse is the result of trying to create a larger universe. That's what happens. I mean, but what was I gonna say? Wait, what were we just talking about? I was gonna rebuttal something.
I
Thanos.
w-
I
you
think he's talking about
you're
Christian's
giving
point.
you're
No, no, no,
giving
no.
you're
What you
giving
were
a
talking about
rebuttal.
before you were talking about the Thanos thing.
I
Fuck.
mean, that's what we were on right now. We were just talking about like the whole like half people, and I was saying like, why can't he just create enough resources to fit
Oh,
everybody?
was he right or not? Was he right or not? I
Oh,
hate when
okay.
people say that. Was he right or not?
Yeah, I mean,
I just
he's a
think,
villain for a reason, you
yeah,
know.
he's a villain. But
I
I think that in regards to him, he did what he thought was right. It's not
yeah.
necessarily what was
Yeah, and and,
right,
and that's
He's
what
the
and
makes him
I'm
a
hero of his
fine
villain.
with
own
that.
story.
I'm fine with that because it's like at the end of the day, his whole shtick is to
Is
do
he a
what he
villain?
thinks.
Is he a villain then?
He's a villain.
Yeah, he
I
definitely
Yeah.
is.
feel
From
He's a
our
man. He's a
perspective,
man. He's a man fulfilling his cosmic destiny.
Well,
he he's a
I
villain.
like that.
He's a villain.
my response to Christian
Um,
was my response to hello.
Hmm.
Yeah.
We can hear.
Yeah, my response to Christian was you have to realize he talked about his homeland and how like when he first came up with the plan to get rid of people, they called him crazy, and then it ended his entire homeland.
Mhm.
So his point isn't the resources. He's saying it's not the resources is what's the issue. It's the people, because people always want to try to consume more than what they need.
Right.
So
Hmm.
yeah.
that's why he's not like that's why he's not creating these a massive amount of resources. As, people are going to take all the resources. It may take 1,000,000 years or 1,000,000,000 years, but at the end of the day, the resources are going to run out.
Well, no, but
Um,
no,
Chunk of
but
it.
initially he initially his first solution was genocide.
No, yeah, the genocide. No, the genocide.
Litnocide?
Yeah, his genocide is him
Relax.
saving the resources.
Genelit?
Mhm.
He just couldn't do that with his homeland. That's what inspired that whole genocide thing he was doing.
Diodosa.
Yeah.
All right, man. I'm gonna just read you. This is what Thanos said at the beginning of Infinity Gauntlet, bro.
Wait, hold on,
None.
wait. Say that for don't read that in the review. Wait
Wait,
till
what?
wait till after.
It's one sentence.
Oh my god.
No, yeah, it fits what I'm saying now. That's why. Like, look, man. At the end of the day, what makes him so interesting to me, like, think about it. When you're just that, when you're just that godly, man, it's just like, what else is your plight gonna be, man? Like, so I find him so compelling that like he's just this omnipotent ass nigga, and it's just like, it's almost part. It's almost like the universe. Remember how Thor? Remember how Loki told him you will never be God.
Yeah.
Well, the universe gave us the answer, and the universe said, "Nah, he's God." It's just I just find it interesting. I mean, look, at the end of the day, like this is what I was gonna say. Like Thanos says this, man, at the beginning of Infinity Gauntlet, man. None shall deny me my righteous place in the pantheon of the cosmic gods.
Yeah.
Come on.
and what did all that cost him?
Listen, I claim a seat at the head of the table, bro.
Yeah.
Like, yo,
Cost me everything.
yo,
I
I
need
know,
to
man.
make that
This
my
man,
Instagram bio.
Can you plug
that
that in the
quote, bro. Like, yo, one more time, man. None shall deny me my righteous place in the pantheon of the cosmic gods, bro.
Can you plug that
None,
in
bro.
the
Nothing, nigga. That's why he said, like, listen. Do you remember what he said to Gamora? He said,
I denied my
like,
destiny once, I think.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
Like,
was the
yo,
song he was
like,
referring to his homeland and shit.
hmm
that's crazy, man. Oh
Thanos
my
had
god,
some amazing
yo,
quotes in this movie.
Yeah, he did.
yo, yeah, he does, bro. He does,
None
bro.
shall
Listen,
deny
man.
me my
Oh, you want to write it out?
yeah.
Okay. It says,
Better not make that your bio.
none shall deny me my righteous place in the pantheon of the cosmic gods. I mean, bro, the story opens
Who
up with this
wrote
man.
that? Claremont? Like what?
Yeah, that sounds like a Chris line, right? yo,
That sounds like
yo,
some Magneto. That's some
you,
Magneto
yo,
would say, bro.
yo, you could picture the Chris meme face as he's typing it. He's like, none shall deny me my righteous
Oh,
place in the pantheon of the cosmic gods.
oh yeah, I did have a question for Ibu regarding this
What's
movie.
up? What's up?
I know your concerns going into the movie was like how they want to balance all the characters.
Yeah.
How did you feel they did that with this movie?
Okay, so I
Did you
said
get
this
my One
already in the
Piece?
group.
Did you get
Like
my One Piece
they did
reference
it.
when I told you?
Yeah. Of course. So they did the I think they did an admirable job of balancing them, and I think they did it in the way that would make the movie work.
Mm.
Because the thing is, like,
Yo, I'm
they
sorry. I
the
like
directors
totally didn't
know
get that. I cut off.
what's up.
Can you just type it
No,
in the
no.
chat?
Yeah, I'll type it in a sec. So the way I see it, Andre, is if you gave like extra more time to some of these characters that you already know, right? It's kind of like, look, all you really need to tell me, give me certain interactions, keep the plot moving in terms of the storyline, right?
Uh-huh.
And then give me really like who this guy is, because it's like if you really kind of dicked around with some of these characters that you already know and they've already been set up and they're like who they are and like what their mindset is and all this and that and all the subplots, if they've already been set up and stuff, all you really need to give me with them is just what you'd call kind of character vignettes, where it's kind of like these interconnected scenes that are just kind of sprinkled across this big movie that's mostly a canvas, right? The way I see it, this movie in terms of its structure is one big Thanos canvas, and on across this canvas is just little squares that contain scenes of these other characters, and that's kind of how you have to do it to make it work, because he should be the focal point, because we need to know what he wants, why he wants it, and who he is. And with these other characters that you already know, just give me the interactions, keep the plot moving, tell me what they need to do in their certain situation to further the plot. And so those scenes intertwining with Thanos' characterization and then having them kind of come to a head at the end, I think was the best structure for the film to work. And yeah, I would say uh I think it worked. It worked.
Let me say this. I know I give Marvel a bunch of crap,
Mm-hmm.
but here's what separates them from everybody. Like they are so smart. Like having this
Mm.
movie really focus on Thanos and everything else be kind of accents around
Mm-hmm.
him is the
Mm-hmm.
smartest thing. Because I'm wondering too, how are they gonna do this? How are they gonna
Yeah.
balance all these characters out? How are they gonna? They have to focus. You have to focus on somebody.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, are they gonna focus on Cap? Are they gonna focus on Iron Man? Obviously, they're gonna
Yeah.
focus on the villain in his first debut.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you think it's obvious, but you wouldn't think that initially. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like DC wouldn't do that,
And, and
and it
that's funny.
pisses me off.
Yeah, and I was watching. It's
they
like,
just don't got that
why can
clout
my
now.
company do this? Yo, so here's the thing. The
It's
thing
the
about it
feds, man.
is they certain characters that maybe didn't get super shine here are characters that like recently got a lot of shine and great characterization and stuff and had their moments. And so
Mm.
Marvel was kind of like, all right, let's kind of catch some of these other characters up to speed.
Or
For
had other
example,
movies to shoot.
yes. So for example, Captain America and Black Panther right now, they're eating good, man. Like Civil War, man, and Black Panther, like they're eating good. You know what I mean? And so, like considering just the recentness of Black Panther and everything, I mean, we got the Wakandan setting and we got the characters, but like you weren't gonna be able to, and didn't really need to kind of like have these personal moments with T'Challa. Like we know what T'Challa's mind is at the moment. You know what I mean? And
Mm.
so that's why I appreciated kind of other characters, like for example Thor, who's one of the more longer tenured MCU characters. Despite his long tenure, it's almost one of this. I don't know the exact word, but I just feel like they did a lot here to really kind of make him one of the better characters in the MCU, and he wasn't before this.
I just
Who?
think they,
And so
I just
Thor?
think they went a little deeper. They opened him up.
yeah, that's the thing.
Got
Because
inside
because
his
because
head.
because here's the thing, despite the fact that he wasn't one of the better characters in the MCU before this, like as a character, he
Mm.
has been featured in a lot of the movies,
Yeah.
and so there's a lot to draw upon to kind of say like these experiences changed him as a
Mm.
person. Because whether these movies are good or not, like some of these Thor movies like Dark World or whatever, at the end of the day, he's had these kind of conflicts with his family, and to any normal person, realistically, if you want to humanize him, I mean, look at his family situation and say this would affect somebody as a person, whether you're a god or not. And
Mm.
so to kind of humanize him and say, like he's a beaten, broken man. This is a man with short hair now, a missing eye, family conflicts, had to kill the sister, freaking the father killed this, and this person killed that person, and this person killed that person, and now all his people that he was freaking fighting for and was a symbol of, now that they're gone, and Loki's the guy who he was opposing now saved himself. I mean, saved him. This would affect anybody. And so to now break Thor down to this point where he's now questioning his own legitimacy as a god, despite like just like the immense clout he has, like it really goes a long way for making him endearing him towards an audience and having the audience now almost root for him. And so it's almost like breaking, it's almost like the classic story arc or character arc in films and storytelling of breaking down a person and bringing him back up, because
Hero's
now
journey.
resurrecting him, yeah, and so resurrecting him now with the new hammer and just kind of reaffirming who Thor is, he's better than ever. And so I really appreciate this film for really, really doing so much positive work on Thor's character.
MVP of the movie for me.
No,
Hey
that's
man,
Star
him
Lord.
and Thanos.
Other than Thanos.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Other than Thanos, 100%, I would actually go Thor. How do
Um,
y'all love?
go ahead.
Yo man, when I saw Nick Fury in the post credits, I got so excited. I was like, we about to get a Nick
Yo,
Fury film.
listen,
Yeah.
listen.
And then when this man disappeared, I was like,
Listen,
no.
I know the X-Men thing was not gonna
Yeah.
happen, but you
Sending.
can't. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
I wanted to
When
see
it
that.
says
Here's the
Honestly.
thing. You knew it wasn't gonna happen, but like your heart was still beating. Like
I wanted
what's
to
the
see the,
sending
I
about
wanted
it
to
be?
see the insignia, bro. I wanted to see
Saw that,
Edo, you would have had a heart attack in the
bro.
theater.
I would have had a freaking bro. Are you crazy?
My
Oh, I'd have
Insignia of what? What X-Men?
yeah, Edo saying like you wanted to see the X-Men insignia. Yo, Edo, you would have had a heart attack in the theater, bro.
bro.
Yo,
You would have had a heart attack.
Captain Marvel is going to be one of the most important movies.
Oh, for sure.
No,
I
I
can't
agree.
wait.
I agree.
One
I
fun
can't wait.
Oh, by the way, guys, Samuel Jackson's confirmed for the movie.
Well,
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
sure
Takes
all know
place in
that.
the 80s too, right?
Yeah,
No,
90s.
90s,
90s.
and I
90s,
saw
90s, okay.
I saw a set photo of Nick Fury of Samuel Jackson in a wig, so
Fat.
he has hair.
Let's
I think it's
go.
going to be one of the most important movies to this.
100, 100%.
This was fun, but
I'll
I
take
gotta
this for
And
you,
the
right?
thing
go.
is,
All right,
take
go
this
ahead.
for you.
bye,
Thank
Noon.
you.
Have a good night.
Peace.
The thing about it, guys, also like that movie is gonna have the Skrulls and the Skrull Empire, and they're like the oldest alien race in the Marvelverse actually, and they're super important to the Fantastic Four in general as villains. The Super Skrull, which is their leader, is a massive Fantastic Four antagonist, and the Skrull Empire was one of the three allied empires that fought against Dark Phoenix. And so the MCU expansion potential just from Captain Marvel is just like whoa, like
That and Secret Invasion.
yeah, man, like it's crazy, man.
Did we touch on everything?
I mean, yeah, it
I
seemed
don't.
like
Um,
we covered a lot of the bases pretty well.
We didn't
Vision and
really,
Scarlet
we didn't
Witch, you
really,
wanted
we
again,
didn't
yeah.
really go in on Tom Holland as Spider-Man.
Oh, hold on,
Yeah,
hold on.
well,
Hold on.
nah,
Dude,
that's
he's the best
more of
Spider-Man,
a
bro.
Spider-Man.
Iron
Let me just say
Spider
this,
suit,
though.
he cracked some
Let me
jokes, and
say
then
this.
he
Let me say
died.
this.
Andre, go ahead.
This man is the greatest Spider.
This
Oh,
is
man,
fact. That is
Andre, don't
factual.
do this to
Hello?
me.
That is
Andre,
factual.
don't do this to me, man.
That is a
He's the
fact.
greatest Spider.
Andre,
He's not. I don't know, man. I
He's the
just
Andre, don't
he's
do
the
this.
he doesn't give me the
he's
he
the
just doesn't give me the feeling that Toby
he's the
does. But he's not
greatest.
bad at all.
He's the greatest Spider-Man to play Spider-Man
I
and
can't
Peter
I can't
Parker.
I can't say it yet, man.
Now,
Nah, I'm
I did have
sorry.
an issue. I did
I
have an issue
can't
with them
do
He's
that.
showing
a,
the Spidey sense because they didn't show it in the first Spider-Man movie.
Wait, oh, you talking about with the hair
maybe he
standing
wasn't
up?
really. Andre, maybe he just wasn't really in tune with his abilities yet.
You know, yeah, well, that should have been a point of the movie that they should have touched on. But listen, man.
Nah, yeah, Andre, you know what happened? They heard the fans' complaints about it, so they threw
Ah,
it.
But
hey, man.
That's what actually happened.
but
Hey, yo, the fans
Oh no.
saw Peter's hair stand up and they started nutting. Bro. Like the
Yeah.
Spidey sends us back. Let's go. Ah, my neck.
listen, I don't really like Stan Lee, but his butt scene was pretty funny.
Yeah.
He's always like Lee. Yo, Edo, I wanted to call you out on this, man. And I already typed it out to you, man. But hey, man, we watched the Batman Begins. I said, hey, man, I'm seeing a lot of Batman. You're one in this, man.
Huh?
Where's the Frank Miller shout out in these
It's not
credits?
full, but it's
And
going.
you're like,
It gets
hey,
there quick.
man, DC owns the property. They can't really shout you out, man. What you want them to do?
No,
And
I know.
what
I
does
didn't say
Avengers?
no,
Not
no,
an
no, no, no.
amalgamation.
I said they're not getting a check. They're not getting paid.
Okay, yeah, but they didn't even say his name in the credits. And what did Avengers Infinity War do? They won by one. I don't know if y'all peeped this because the thing is, I'm sitting here watching this long ass credits in shock. But there's a one section where they go character by character of all the characters in the film, and they legit list not only the creators of the characters, but writers and artists that were pivotal to just like their comics, not even like the creators themselves. And so you just have like a long freaking gluttony paragraph of names, and I'm like, yo, shout out to Marvel, bro. Shout out to Marvel. And for the record, though, so John Byrne's name was in the credits of Infinity War, bro. That gave me a semi hard on.
You think John Byrne would rather credit in the
I don't know what it is.
rundown or a check
John
or
Byrne.
part of that
I mean, that's my guy. But
Or you want?
I mean, he's
John
great.
Byrne
But wait,
wants
what
part
were you
of
saying,
that
Edelson?
800 mil? Or credit?
Are you saying you said I mean, at least he got his name. At least his name is on the thing. Because
I'm
here's the
asking,
thing.
you think he want part of that 800 mil or credit?
I mean, obviously they would all want a part of it, but here's the thing, though. He has no claim to get any money from this. He has nothing to do with the movies making, right? But Marvel has the courtesy to say thank you to all of these creators for their parts in shaping these characters in the comic world, and because we are now borrowing them to create this successful film verse. And that's just so to me that I respect that so much. Like, that's just so courteous because they don't have to do that. DC doesn't do it. Like they like think about it. They're going character by character. Gamora, Star-Lord, Drax, and they're just dropping names of all these people who had so much to do with the comics. All these characters one by one.
DC does always shout out the Superman and
And
Batman.
the song, no.
Just the two guys, just the two Jews who started it, man. So man, Man, but ain't nobody worried about Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, man. Like, man,
Ohio guys too. Ohio guys too.
two broke Jews in the 1920s, man. Look, man, they did not create Krypton, man. I'm tired of them getting all this credit, man. Man,
Listen.
it's nonsense.
This is listen. I don't know why we're going off topic because whoever the fuck is watching this.
It's not off topic though, because it's about Infinity War's credits.
Ibrahim, I'm gonna need you to release your finger off of John Byrne. Let's talk about important things. Listen,
I think we covered
it's just an appreciation for a legend.
And this is pretty long.
No, I fuck with John Byrne. Okay.
So
he's great.
So close.
Go ahead.
Just one more thing. The original Avengers staying alive.
What
for the next movie?
That's not necessarily true because Nick Fury got bopped.
Man, Nick Fury is not an Avenger. But
yo, man, I missed him, and then just to see him get bopped, I'm like, God damn it, man! I was just saying, where's this man been?
I seen this man, and then you see him get bopped. I was like,
I got mad salty. For the record, that one white John that he be with is low-key underrated, though. But anyway,
I agree.
Oh, her? The Robin chick
at this point,
how much
we're gonna end this.
Before it gets a little loose in it.
Let's all give our ratings right quick.
Nah. Listen, an in-depth, thoughtful. Can I say something? An in-depth, thoughtful discussion offers more.
Why are you cutting me off when I was the one making the point? Listen.
Oh my god.
You gotta play with me. We'll do this again. I'm on that Xanax, nigga. Calm down. But yeah, we should all just give our ratings. If you don't want to give your rating, then don't give your rating.
But I wanted to say though,
what was going like? What was
because here's the thing, my thing is I feel like an in-depth, thoughtful discussion offering our feelings on a film is much more supplementary and much more insightful than just a numeric score about our feelings of a film.
You're only saying that because you did certain things with whatever.
I just that's just how I feel.
Ladies and gentlemen, Coon. But
anyways, look, man. Anyway,
here's what I just want to say what I think is going to happen in the next movie. We got this guy Adam coming.
Well,
and
I think
know
he's gonna
Adam,
be Guardians though.
Adam Cocklock?
I know he's part of the Infinity Gauntlet.
Yes, he is.
War thing. So I'm expecting him to be important at some point from now into 2019. I think. So,
Andre. By the way, Andre, did you know that his existence was hinted to in the MCU already?
Yeah. I remember
in Guardians too. Yeah, that baby. They're like, I'm gonna name him Adam.
Forgot about that.
I want to say
cameo.
I think Captain Marvel is going to be kind of like the first kind of galactical, like even though like Infinity War is kind of like the big galactical thing. I think this movie is going to be really more like a kind of introduce more to the galactical side.
More, it's going to be more cosmic expansion.
Yeah, more cosmic expansion of this one, and it's going to establish something from Captain Marvel that we may need in Infinity Wars.
Yep.
I feel like Marvel is hiding something that's going to make the fans go crazy, though.
Oh, they are.
I feel like I'm suspicious of Captain Marvel. There's something to that movie that like that's definitely going to be big. I think.
I feel like they're going to introduce something. Like I'm not saying it is like the Fantastic Four or like maybe like
that
the
would
X-Men.
That would be straight crazy.
I feel like it's going to be.
It'd be X-Men.
I think it's gonna be something.
Could you imagine? Could you imagine one of those things where like they try to they punish anyone who's sleeping on this movie and put something huge in it? Like
I think they are going to show something like really crazy, maybe post credit or like at some point in that movie that's going to happen.
Here's the thing, man. I mentally made a decision to watch that movie from the Avenger post credit because I was like, oh god damn it, they're making me watch Captain Marvel now. All right, fine. You got me. And so I was like, all right, sure. And the more I just thought about it, the more I realized that it'll probably be a good business move to watch this movie, and it's probably going to be very, very
is Captain Marvel going to be
the thing is,
Wonder Woman? Nah.
Of course it will be.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Nah.
But
Definitely.
Wait,
since,
Zoster, you're talking about
Definitely.
dead franchise. Let's relax.
yeah, exactly. Listen. Let me
His,
put my
I'm pretty
predictions.
sure
Dang, yo,
Wonder Woman
DC
2
really
comes
is
out.
mad dead right
Pretty sure
now.
Wonder
Yeah,
Woman
it's
2
crazy.
comes out June next year.
Edo, how do you feel if coming off the heels of Infinity War, DC's next big announcement is they're making a Suicide Squad sequel?
Ugh.
I'm not even gonna respond to that.
Listen. I'll say this. In terms of what I believe is going to happen, I agree with Andre that Captain Marvel. I think what's going to happen is personally Avengers 4, since Tony and Captain America are going to be smoked. Captain Marvel is going to be the new leader of the Avengers. Number one.
Bad time.
I believe. Do I think Adam Warlock is going to be in that movie?
In Infinity War Part 2?
Infinity War Part 2, I feel like he's the only person that would make sense because right now, Thanos is probably trapped in a Soul Stone. I think everybody's trapped in a Soul Stone somewhere, and they
I
just
got a
have to
question.
find a
Oh,
way
go ahead.
to get rid of that.
I got a question
But
for
I think
everybody.
Adam
Go ahead.
would be the perfect villain for that movie, and I think going forward,
He's not a villain though, is he, Adam?
He's not.
He's not a villain.
He's
no,
neutral.
he's not,
He has who's the other guy? Marvel or something like that. I forgot his name.
Marvel.
It's Marvel.
Yeah.
It's Marvel.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I
I
want
got
to
a
say.
question. I got a question for everybody.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my question is this: if because Adam Warlock in the comic of Infinity Gauntlet is pretty much just Captain Save-A-Ho, and so my thing is he's essentially in I mean he's more than this. He's more than this, but he is a plot device in the sense of just like he's the guy to kind of turn the tide of the situation. And so,
Yeah.
so my question then is this: do you guys want Warlock to be kind of set up a little bit in Captain Marvel before you kind of just throw him out there to kind of do whatever he has to do in Infinity War Part
Yeah.
2?
Isn't Guardians 3 coming out before Infinity War?
Is it? I don't think so. I feel like
I
it would
think
just be
it's like
No,
horrible
it's not.
timing.
No,
No,
it's
it's
not.
not.
No, it's not. No, it's
It's
not.
No,
not.
I'm pretty
The
sure.
only
that-
thing, the only thing in between is Ant-Man the Wasp, and then
Yeah, okay, yeah. It's
and
just
then Captain Marvel, and
okay.
then Infinity War 4.
Yeah, so the only sensible place to put him would be in Marvel, and the thing is that takes place in the past, so you could theoretically do an origin of him in that movie, and then Infinity War is where we find out like where he's been in the last 20 years. Even though cosmic characters like those guys, passage of time is so different to him that like 20 years ago, 25 years ago is like a few weeks or days, and so yeah. Well, go ahead.
There is something I'm afraid of with this movie though, like the
What?
next one, because in Infinity Gauntlet they kind of like talk no jutsu Thanos into
For now.
yeah for like redoing what he just did. So I'm hoping they don't go that route.
No. It'll be what'll work for the story,
I mean,
Talk
and
no jutsu.
it
Talk no
won't be a
jutsu
straight
is
up. It
incoming.
won't. You said talk no. Nah, it won't be a straight up talk no jutsu. I'm almost willing to bet.
It's a very Marvel thing to do.
No, it's
I mean, if I
Speaking of
remember
which,
correctly,
Did he
What?
talk no juice to Killmonger, nigga? Nah.
He did kind of get Talk no jutsu.
Did it
no, he
work?
didn't.
Did it work?
Killmonger murked himself. Like
listen, in Infinity Gauntlet, if I remember correctly, they really did because that man had all the power. He just smoked. I remember he was just snapping his fingers and everybody was just pop. It was so funny because I remember fucking Wolverine pulled up like he was about to do some shit. It was snap. And the whole X-Men got snapped. It was so funny, man. I'm not gonna lie. Those 6 years.
speaking of which, I bought Infinity Gauntlet today, man. Yo, these pages that are looking beautiful.
How
man.
much did it
Like,
cost?
it was like $20.
Oh.
This is one full page spread of Adam Warlock. I see another full page spread of Doctor Doom. Yeah. I see one of Thanos like just holding these gems. Like there's all these kind of really trippy panels. There's
I'm gonna
one
get
full page
Infinity Gauntlet,
of
then I'm
Thor.
gonna get what's it called?
I bought. Oh god.
Rage of Ultron.
Oh yeah, I heard Velez
That
say
was a
that.
decent
I mean,
story.
yo, guys, like think about this is some like wait, Edo, are you there?
You said it was decent, Rodney?
Yeah, it was decent.
Oh, no, I'm not buying it.
Oh. Yeah. Don't never. The rule as a comic person, if you're buying something, buy it because you know that like it's at least like very good, or because like you're like you just heard recommendations and stuff like that. Like never pay for like okay. I don't
You know,
see you there.
and I'm hoping for a Hawk and Widow moment that
Yeah, we didn't
turns
talk
into
about that.
that turns into a kind of like a Bruce and inner Hawk. Cause if have you guys ever
Yeah,
seen the first Hawk?
I know exactly what you're saying, Andre. But you don't think that's a little cheesy, where it's just kind of
No,
like, all right,
no.
man,
I
the
think you need
walls
to.
bring him back.
No, I think because y'all seen the first Hawk, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
the
Yeah,
been
the
a
first
while,
'08
but
one
yeah.
with
the
Edward Norton, right?
1993
No, not with
universe.
Edward Norton. With
Oh, you're
Eric
talking about
Bana.
the oh
The
08? I
very
mean the
first
oh
one.
03 one?
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
The
There's a scene. There's a
OG
scene
one.
where they knock him out, right? And there's a scene where like Eric Bana is like wiping the fog off the mirror, and he sees Hawk inside the mirror. I'm kind of hoping like there's a moment where like the Hawk and him trying to come to an understanding. Because I think that they have to explain why the Hawk didn't come out, like why the Hawk said no. Like, and even
That's
if it
still
may be a
funny.
little generic or cheesy, I think it's still something that needs to happen.
She said,
Because
"No, that man was
people want to see the
shook.
Hawk.
I
That
mean,
man was
I mean, here's the thing, man.
shook."
If all it takes for him to bring back Hulk out is some Scarlett and Johansson mark, like how would y'all feel, man?
No. I'm talking
No.
about
Irima.
no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying him having a moment. 'Cause he hasn't seen Black Widow in a while. Him
Hmm.
seeing Black Widow, and then it kind of like sparks something in him where he says like because he says like we need to talk Hawk. So I'm hoping it sparks that they do something to spark that moment between Hawk and because the Hawk is never going to have a solo movie. So they need at least
No,
to show some type of character, some
I wonder
interaction between
why.
those two.
I
I mean,
mean,
because the
Kevin
Hulk is a
Kevin
focus. Mm,
No. I mean, no. Hulk could, but Kevin Feige, the executive producer of Marvel Studios, he had this extended interview the other day, and they were like, Hulk. He was talking. You guys should really check it out. He's talking really openly about a bunch of stuff, and he's really transparent. And they're like, okay, Hulk movie, solo movie coming soon. And he said we were gonna do he said what our plans were for a Hulk movie ended up being Thor Ragnarok because it was gonna be a Planet Hulk movie and Thor was gonna be involved and there's gonna be all these little ideas we had. We kind of scrapped it and then parts of the aspects of what we planned in terms of like the Coliseum battle with Thor and Hulk happened in Ragnarok. And they're like, so is there a Hulk movie coming in the works? And do you think Hulk can be a solo character movie? And he said you can 100% do a Hulk solo movie, but are we doing one at the moment? He says, no, we're kind of booked. He actually openly talked about. You guys should really watch the video. He openly talked about how he feels about the FF and X Men potentially joining the MCU and when they could expect that and that kind of thing. Like he was being
But
mad
also,
mad open.
I don't find Mark Ruffalo like a lead actor, like
You, you,
for a
you, you
no,
movie.
know you know what's funny. You know what's funny about that, Andre. You know what I came. You know what I realized the other day because I was kind of like watching some old MCU clips on YouTube from like the original Avengers and stuff. I was like, I told myself I was like, is it me? Like if you go back to Avengers 1, Mark Ruffalo was like his portrayal and like just the way he was written and stuff was so good. Like I feel like now he's kind of like this kind of like
he didn't do anything. He's
not
just
even,
there.
that's fine. He's not just there. But like I feel like he's become such a like such a wimp. Like I don't know, he's become kind of like this like spazzy like twitchy wimp. And he wasn't like
Yeah,
he's
but
fan.
that's who Bruce Banner is though.
No, but it's different. Like if you go back to Avengers 1, I don't know. He just came off like a
And,
really interesting person.
like,
Like,
because before this movie, the only Mark Ruffalo movie I've seen him in was when Zodiac with Jake Gyllenhaal.
oh, I never heard of him before.
Like that's the
He
and he
played
was
Hulk.
great. He was great in that movie, but he wasn't a main. He wasn't like the
Yo,
lead
I'm
character.
sorry. Edward Norton as Hulk was way better.
Of course it was.
I
It's
don't
Edward Norton,
agree.
nigga.
It's so much more charisma, bro. He has so much. He's much better. Bruce Banner.
Edward Norton
You you
is
you
more
you you, you
charismatic
think
than
Yeah.
Mark
so?
Ruffalo,
Yes,
but
bro.
as an actor, it,
Mark Ruffalo. I agree with you,
probably.
Ibrahim. I don't know what they're doing with Mark Ruffalo now, but he's a spaz.
Yeah,
I don't know
he's
why they're making him
Yeah,
like
he's
that.
fast.
It's
it's
He's a
Tony,
weird.
fast.
Tony, it's Tony.
Yeah, it's so weird. He's
Thanos is
like that in
coming,
Thor
man.
Ragnarok. He's like
What
that
do you
in Thor
do?
Ragnarok too.
Yeah, like where he's like,
Bro, it's like
nah,
this is
nah,
weird.
nah,
Nah,
Yeah,
but
Tony. You don't like
Adosi,
me. You only like Hulk, man. This is
you
I
gotta
like,
remember. You
like
gotta
when does man become like this paranoid pothead? Like,
hold on,
like
Ibrahim. Let me say something very quick. Adosi, you do gotta remember that from what I remember of the Hulk stuff that I seen, that's pretty much what Bruce Banner is later on after the Hulk takes more of a forward role, and it's like it still comes off weird, but
I
it's
guess
like
it's just Mark Ruffalo
it's the right,
the way
yeah.
he's like acting it out. It's just weird to his voice is weird too. I don't
But
know.
one thing we never spoke about was Black Widow and her relationship with the Hulk and how her relationship with Captain America is
Yo,
gonna affect their relationship.
So wait, was
Weird.
did you guys hear the theory that him and Nat are like a thing?
They're not.
Who and
It's
who?
not. They're not. They're not.
Because Captain
They're not.
America and Black
He
Widow
Cap is
are
into that
together.
one agent
Nah,
chick. I
yeah,
forgot her
yeah,
name.
no. He's into the ancestor of his old
I
girl.
don't know, man.
Which
Nah,
is
nah.
wild,
Hey,
but
And
man. Nah,
for the record, I was watching a Russo's
nah.
brother interview
Hey,
when they
man.
asked him about the romance of Cap, and he said in our minds we approach it as if they're just really they're platonically intimate when it comes to Scarlett Johansson. I mean, when it comes to Black Widow and Cap, because he said it would be just too predictable and corny if we had them start becoming a thing in Winter Soldier. And so from there on, they made the conscious decision to just have them be really close to each other and kind of brother and sistery. And
Nah,
maybe
bro.
there's a little tension there, but like
Nah,
it's not
nah,
intended.
Nigga, we
nah.
can see it. It's
Nah.
weird.
They're a
I
thing,
mean,
bro.
I mean
I
They're a
think.
thing.
that's just coming out of the actors because he
Yeah.
probably hit it a little
I
bit.
think.
Yeah.
But man, like
I think it's kind of like the Harry Potter and Hermione thing.
mm,
If you ever read the
Yeah,
book,
it's like
like
that.
there is subtle hints that they there's like each other. There's like certain moments, but at the end of the day, they just become. Hold on, someone mute me real quick.
yo, Adosa.
Yeah.
I'm flipping through this Infinity Gauntlet, but bro, I'm about to like as you guys been talking, I've been silently nutting gowns, bro. Flipping pages,
He said
seeing
nothing.
a beard,
Glenn
seeing a
said that
bearded,
live, bro.
seeing a bearded Thor, like just fight with his Stormbreaker hammer against Thanos, bro. Like this is on space. Edo, issue 4 of Infinity Gauntlet. You know what the title of this issue is? Hello.
He's muted.
My bad. I meant to mute
Oh,
Andre.
oh,
What'd you say?
oh. Issue 4 of Infinity Gauntlet is called, and mind you, it says the title as you see like all the hacks characters in the Marvelverse fly onto Thanos' throne in the middle of space, right? And the
Mhm.
title of the issue is called Cosmic Battle on the Edge of the Universe. Bro. Like it's so dumb.
Yeah.
And mind you, Edo, as this crazy fight is going on, Mephisto is squaring off with like freaking Cyclops, Wolverine, and freaking Scarlet Witch. And
Yeah.
all you see as all this chaos and disorder is happening, bro, is the Watcher is just floating in the middle of space, just watching this, bro. Like
As he
like
should.
the setup is so hype,
Yo,
bro.
Infinity War is one of my comic blind sides, bro. I've never read that run.
It's Infinity
I've
Gauntlet,
never. I
Adoson.
mean, Infinity Gauntlet. You know what I mean?
You never read
I
Infinity
Yo,
Gauntlet.
never read Infinity Gauntlet. I never read,
Edo,
what's that called? What's that one war called?
Secret Wars.
Nah, I've read Secret Wars. It's like the Messiah War.
Oh, isn't that the one with like X-Men and
I think so.
yeah, yeah,
Something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh, you know what's cool about that? You know who drew Messiah War?
Who?
A famous artist, Mark Silvestri, who
Yo, Mark
drew.
Silvestri. What's that?
Yeah, Silvestri drew during parts of the Claremont run, and then he
Yeah.
went on to Image to make some of his own Bad Image
I
comics.
hate
But
the
yeah,
bad
man, great,
image
great,
comic.
great artist, man. He came back in '07 for Messiah War. I was at a comic shop and I was flipping through that artwork, bro, and I almost like jizzed in public. Like it was
Oh,
crazy,
Yeah,
bro.
I
Like
gotta check. I gotta check
it
that
was
out. I hear good things.
crisp,
I hear
bro.
good things about
It
this.
like it. No, I'm not gonna lie. Like think about it. It was like his art style with like this kind of modern coloring. And like here's the thing, I don't really mind modern comic coloring, but like some of the art now in Marvel sometimes just looks kind of like I don't know, it just doesn't do it for me. But with Silvestri's art, bro, like it was popping off the pages, bro. Like you're seeing like ruined rubble cities, and you're seeing the Avengers just posted up on the block, and like it was just looking mad disgusting,
Yeah, is
bro.
Infinity Gauntlet any good though?
It
I
looks
watched
nasty. No,
because
yeah,
because
no, yeah, yes.
I heard that and I watched the cartoon instead, like the movie
Ew.
that they did. Because I heard that the
Mm-hmm.
movie was better actually when I went to a comic book shop, and the
There's
guy told me that
cartoon movie of it?
yeah, the guy told me that I watched the movie, and I watched the
I'm gonna
movie,
look that up. I don't know, man. I mean, here's what I can tell you,
but
man.
even the movie
I
was
mean, I have
the movie was ah.
nah, Edo. I
ah.
mean, as a guy who's a fan of comics, like you are,
Yeah,
just buy the trade and read it, man. You're
yeah, I
gonna
might just
enjoy it.
get this because
And,
the movie
and,
wasn't
and
bad.
here's the thing. I'm flipping through pages, right? This is one section of the story early on, like in the setup to it. it's hype every page because of just like because it's set up right. And look, bro, like I'm gonna go in order of what I'm looking at. Right, one
There's some
page.
movies